So Donald Trump's Solicitor General, John Sauer, and Adam Schiff absolutely go crazy at one another in Congress.
With that, Senator Schiff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Sauer, you've served as one of the President's defense lawyers. Should cases arise in the Justice Department involving the same cases in which you represented him, will you recuse yourself?
Senator, thank you for the question. As reflected in the ethics agreement that I have signed and in the regulations of the Department of Justice, as to any matter that were to come before me that might require a recusal obligation, I would consult with the Department of Justice ethics officials and follow my recusal obligations.
So you'll consult with the career ethics lawyers at the department?
Yes, that's correct.
You are aware, of course, that the career ethics officials at the department have been fired, demoted, transferred. They no longer exist. The two people in that office are one of your fellow criminal defense lawyers of Donald Trump and a political appointee who graduated from law school just a few years ago. They don't exist. So who are you going to consult? Are you going to go to one of his other criminal defense lawyers to find out if you should recuse yourself?
Senator, I'm not aware of any personnel actions that you've described, so I can't speak directly to those. I've just recently been through a process where I was consulting closely with a career DOJ
I'll tell you,
ethics
Mr.
attorney.
Sauer, those actions have taken place. And the two appointees are political appointees. The people who will make the recusal recommendations to you are political appointees. One was Mr. Bove's former chief of staff. The other was a fellow criminal defense lawyer for Donald Trump. If that's who you're going to for recusal advice, no one can have confidence that that judgment will be made properly. But let me move on to another question. You took the position as Donald Trump's lawyer that he could order SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political opponent and not be prosecuted for it unless he was impeached first. Should the president order the use of violence against a political appointment, will that continue to be your position as the lawyer for the United States? Will you represent to the court that any prosecution should be dismissed if the president is not first impeached?
Senator, I believe the exchange that you're referring to, which occurred during oral argument in the D.C. Circuit in that presidential immunity decision, I was asked a question about that, and what I responded was that the president may be prosecuted for an action like that, but under the plain language of the impeachment judgment clause, he must be first impeached and convicted by the Senate.
And as the judge in that argument made clear, that means your position is he cannot be prosecuted unless he's impeached first. So he can order the use of his office to use violence against a political opponent, and you would defend his ability to do that in any criminal prosecution unless he's impeached. Is that your testimony?
I believe this situation came up with respect to a real-world example.
Well, I'm giving you...
If I may?
I'm giving you... Yes. You'll answer my question.
Yes, I believe I am answering the question. President Obama ordered the essential killing of U.S. citizens located abroad by drone strike. And my colleague on the other side of that case was
My question is not about President Obama and using a drone strike against a terrorist. My question is Donald Trump using his office to assassinate a political opponent. If he's not impeached for it, would you defend against any prosecution as Solicitor General?
The hypothetical you've offered respectfully is so outlandish, I don't know if I'm in a position to address it.
Well, you addressed it for the court, but you won't address it for the country in this hearing?
I think I've just said exactly the same response that I gave
Okay, then
the court,
exactly the same response is that you would evidently defend him against prosecution for that. Let me move on to the last question. The department moved to dismiss a corruption case against the mayor of New York. The acting Southern District of New York U.S. attorney refused to undertake an action that she believed was deeply unethical. So then it fell on her number two, Hagen Scotton, to do the dirty deed of dismissing this case. This is what he said. Any assistant U.S. attorney would know our laws and traditions do not allow using the prosecutorial power to influence other citizens, much less elected officials, in this way. If no lawyer with an earshot of the president is willing to give him that advice, then I expect you will eventually find someone who is enough of a fool or enough of a coward to file your motion, but it was never going to be me. My question to you, Mr. Sauer, is, would that be you? Would that be you if it fell to you to dismiss that case. Would you be the coward or fool willing to dismiss that case on behalf of the president?
I certainly can't speak to any official action that I might or might not take in a hypothetical scenario. I will say that there was a distressing lack of letters like this during the weaponization of justice.
Well, there is a disturbing presence of letters like this, and your answer tells me that it would be you. My colleagues have praised your legal skills. I have no doubt about your knowledge of the law. But to me, you can't be a good lawyer if you use the law to subvert the law, if you use our system to undermine our system, and I'm deeply afraid that's what you've done, and that's what you will do in this position. I yield back.
What kind of world are we living in when we have to take integrity lessons from somebody like Adam Schiff? Adam Schiff is the definition of a swamp creature. Everything he does is working against Americans. The man has a multi-million-dollar net worth, yet he never made more than $200,000 in a given year. How is this possible? Somebody very famous once said, I forget who said it, they said, nobody gets rich in politics. The only people who actually become wealthy once they enter politics are people who are working actively against the best needs of their constituents, which is Adam Schiff personified. I'll tell you what, pencil neck, better watch out, because the walls are closing in. People are realizing this man's full of garbage. Donald Trump said it all along. Do you remember after Donald Trump won in 2016? This man was saying he had concrete evidence that Donald Trump was engaged with Russia, and Russia got him the election win in 2016. And Donald Trump basically has to do whatever the Kremlin wants, and he's basically Putin's pawn, this, that, the other. Now, my question is, who is funding Adam Schiff to do that? Who is paying Adam Schiff to spread misinformation and disinformation and just confuse the general public? Because what happened then was years of Donald Trump fighting for his life just to stay alive in Washington, D.C. They asked Donald Trump, why did you not accomplish all this stuff in your first term? He said, I was fighting to stay alive from these very same people like Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and the people who aren't here to help America. I mean, what did Adam Schiff say here? You can't be a lawyer if you use the law to subvert the law? Is the man talking about himself? Does he not recognize the hypocrisy in what he says every time he opens his mouth? All that he does is ask some crazy hypothetical questions, waits 2 seconds, as soon as the person decides to answer, interrupt them, and then every time the person tries to speak there and after, Adam Schiff doesn't let him. He just talks over them, and he just declares victory in some childish and cynical way. Adam Schiff is the epitome of childlike behavior, and he's supposed to be the North Star when it comes to integrity, doing the right thing. He's trying to preach down to other people. Give me a freaking break. Nobody's buying this. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on this down below. What do you think of Adam Schiff? Do you think this man will ever see the inside of a jail cell, or you think he's done nothing wrong in his career? Let me know. I'd love to know your thoughts. And if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like, comment, subscribe, and wish you guys nothing but the best. Till next time.